Well, it looks like members of Atlanta City Council are now against their own city council as it relates to Cop City. We've been on this since day one. We have provided the updates, the 911, emergency responders, the police. We decided to talk about this on their open radio, indicating that yes, the protesters, peaceful activists are targeted. They need to just give up, one of the officers said. We also have Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. King, on record, telling the city, telling the mayor, allow the people to vote. Those who oppose Cop City, they went out, received the signatures, more than double of what they needed, turned it in. Now all of a sudden, the city clerk says, oh, wait a minute, there's legal limbo here. I can't count them. But in a unanimous decision, the Atlanta City Council voted to put all of those signatures online. That will help with the public narrative, public relations of this. Also, 2 council members. Let's put up Councilwoman Keisha Waits. Now I know Keisha Waits and I know the other council member as well. I will get to her in just a moment. Keisha Waits, longtime public servant, longtime servant period in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Well, her and Councilwoman Bakhtiari says, hey, let people vote. Put a picture up for a mask. It's time for people to vote. All right? Okay. 2 Atlanta City Council members are drafting legislation that would put plans to build the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center, dubbed Cop City, up for a ballot referendum. That's in November. The efforts come in the aftermath of the city attorney announcing on Monday that officials would not begin to verify the 116,000 signatures collected by Cop City Vote, an activist coalition that's been making its own push to get the issue on the ballot. One of the 2 lawmakers, Post 3 at large, council member Keisha Waits and District 5 Representative Bakhtiari, will introduce legislation during next Monday's council meeting, according to Waits. Both council members voted against funding for the training center in the month of June, all right? Let's put both of those council members up so that the public knows who they are. So we had Keisha Waits earlier, now we have the other. Given the amount of money, 67 million, I think it is important that the public weigh in. Waits said, she added that while she supports a public safety training center, she believes people are feeling their voices are not being heard. Waits said she's concerned about a number of issues, including the way contracts were awarded to the private companies who are building the facility. Waits also has concerns about the investigation into the death of the 26-year-old activist who was shot 57 times by Georgia State Patrol, who were conducting a multi-jurisdictional raid in South River Forest, where the training facility is to be built. At the end of the day, we are elected officials. And as such, we take our guidance from those that elected us, Councilwoman Waits said, emphasizing that she has received numerous calls, emails, and texts from Atlantans who are concerned about the project. So let me say what has happened here. Because of the heavy-handedness of state authority, because of the lack of advocacy from local officials, because of the extreme narrative against peaceful protesters who work for nonprofit organizations making pennies. Because of that, it caused individuals who were actually for Cop City to say, wait a minute, we already have a dead body under questionable circumstances. We have a whole lot of money going out. It's actually more expensive than we initially assumed and were told. Now we have the very basic fundamental principle of democracy being destroyed. You see, principle when violated, does not care who it violates. And because of that extreme action from state officials, the extreme charges under the RICO Act against nonprofit members, it has caused a different energy in the city of Atlanta. I literally have spoken with individuals who were for Cop City. They are now against it. Individuals who are on the fence, neutral, they are pretty much universally against it. And obviously those who always oppose it even stronger today. There's more. If the council were to pass the planned legislation, the issue could be on the ballot this November. If the city instead prioritizes verifying the Cop City vote petition signatures, the vote likely will not be held until March 2024, when Cop City vote activists went to City Hall to turn in the petition forms Monday morning. They were expecting the verification process to begin that day. However, a legal memo from the city released after the signatures were turned in Monday said officials could not begin verifying petition signatures until the 11th Circuit Court decides whether to uphold a lower court ruling allowing DeKalb County residents to collect signatures and extending the 60-day deadline. Legal counsel Kurt Hastorf for the coalition disagreed with the city's interpretation and called the decision another delaying tactic. I agree with the attorney, because in the ruling, or the ambiguity of the ruling, it does not specifically say you are not able to count the signatures you currently have. The reason why DeKalb County becomes an issue here is because the actual location of Cop City touches into DeKalb County, even though it is annexed city of Atlanta. DeKalb County and Fulton County are next to each other. Atlanta is in Fulton County, but Atlanta has annexed parts of DeKalb, meaning for the purpose of the building, individuals who are in DeKalb County, who are in that area of annexed Atlanta, should be able to have their signatures on the petition. Very simple, very easy to understand, and likely very winnable for the protesters. There's more. The city of Atlanta's interpretation of law has consistently put us in an impossible position where no matter what decision we make, they're going to assert that the decision is invalid and that the entire process does not need to occur, the lawyer said. Mayor Hooks, tactical lead organizer for Cop City Vote, expressed frustration after the city's announcement, but said it would not stop her coalition's push to get the controversial training center on the ballot. We're doing everything that we can do, that we can, to exhaust democracy, to use what we can at our disposal, everything within our right to do so. The referendum being one of them, Hook said. And if we cannot find justice in the courts, in the system, then we're going to take it to the streets on Tuesday. Fair Fight, the Georgia-based voting rights organization founded by Stacey Abrams, criticized the city of Atlanta for following the same tired anti-voter playbook that has been wielded against voters of color for generations, and called for city officials to put the issue to a vote. Full transparency, I've mentioned this before, the mayor of Atlanta appointed me to the basically oversight committee for Cop City. It came with absolutely no promises, no strings attached. After the first meeting, first of all, the first meeting I refused to participate because it wasn't open to the public, so I didn't go. And I said I wouldn't go to any meeting that's not open to the public. Well, the second meeting and every meeting since has been open to the public. After the second meeting, I heard what they had to say. I heard how they tried to categorize everyone into a very basic fixed position, and all due respect to the city. And that process, they can kiss my ass. There was no way I was going to that third meeting. And to this day, I still receive emails saying another meeting is coming up, and that's fine. President of the NAACP was on that committee. I don't think he's participating anymore. Those who have advocated for the residents of East Atlanta, for Mama Them, knew exactly what our goal was. Our goal was to make sure their voices were heard. My advocacy was very clear, will remain very clear. And I actually like the mayor. He's wrong here. I like the guy. He's a good individual, decent, politically wrong in this case. And dear brother, while I love you, I love the community a little more. And my decision to oppose Pop City, the development and everything else, is rooted in one thing: the fact that you did not get permission from the community that you're building it in. If mama them told you yes, you should have a yes. If they told you no or wait, that's your answer. And now the public has turned on this movement. The heavy-handedness, once again, created the atmosphere that you currently see. I want to say a big thank you to the other organizations who are now saying the right thing. Even Senator Raphael Warnock has gone on record to say the city must be more transparent about this process. Who do you have now? You have Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King. You got Stacey Abrams' organization. You have Senator Warnock, you have me, and you got multiple members of council now. What are you going to do? You think this development is going to happen with virtually every major left-leaning player against it and the community? Come on, man. Come on. All right, this is the thoughts here.
Yeah, well, first, I just want to say, Indisputable, yourself, Dr. Richey, and the whole team has done an excellent job keeping eyes on this story when it's been so unfairly covered in media. I would say broadly, the coverage it did get was following the murder of the protester, and most of that coverage was just regurgitating the police talking points from their initial report, which we now know was a massive misrepresentation of what actually happened. And I think that you make an excellent point in highlighting the shift of public opinion on this issue, where people who didn't necessarily hold a position on Cop City now have been turned off by it, by the just complete missing the mark on messaging on the police's side, on the supporters that it does have in the government there. And this is, these are organizations that you think would do better in their messaging. I mean, it's for the better, in my opinion, as someone who opposes Cop City, that they have, misstepped this at every point. And I just want to highlight that memo that was sent out wasn't sent out until after the signatures were collected and handed over. And I think that goes so far to show what they're willing to do to stop democracy from happening, that they are scared now of what the people who actually live there have to say and what they will say if they get the chance to vote on this issue. And they're gonna do everything they can to prevent it from happening. And the reasoning behind it, I think you did a good job highlighting. It's weak, a very weak reasoning as to why those signatures shouldn't be collected. And the people there deserve to have their voices heard.
That's right, well said. And at the end of the day, the city could bypass all of this, simply vote to put it on the ballot, legal case notwithstanding. They could do that too.